This is called abeti aja cap. It is a cap mostly worn by the Yoruba people of Nigeria. So in today's video, I will take you guys through the process of cutting and sewing this step by step. So as you can see on the screen, this is what the result you're going to be having if your kid is wearing it or you want your man or a man, an adult, to wear it. This can actually be styled in several ways. As you can see on the screen, straight, you can fold it up like this and you can still refold it. Or you can see any design on the screen that you're looking at, you can style it in any way with agbada, with just kaftan. And this is what you're going to be having as our final result. So I'm going to take you guys back so we can start this. So make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're yet to subscribe to the channel. So this is the fabric that I will be using. So the two things you're going to need mostly is your head circumference measurement, the head circumference measurement and the height of the cap. That is the most important thing you need, the head circumference measurement and the height of the cap. So here I'll be working with a total of 24.5 inches for the head circumference, 24.5 inches. So in order to get my wideness that I'm going to cut out, I'm going to divide my 24.5 into two places, which is going to give me a total of 12.25. That is 12 1/4 of an inch, 12.25. So right here, in order to fold your fabric, I'm going to fold 12.25, right? But for my sewing allowance, I'm going to add an extra 1 inch to that, which is going to give me a total of 13.1/4. That's 13.25 inches, right? 13.25 for the total. So here, I'm just going to make everything 13 inches plus my sewing allowance. 12.5, I'm going to add an extra 3/4 of an inch, making it a total of 13 inches plus my allowance. So I fold this at a total of 13 inches. You can see it is doubled. So I'm going to split this into two. I'm going to open it into two. So my height here is a total of 14 inches. The total height that I'm working with is 12 inches for the total height of the cap. The 14 inches is just for the allowance. I'm still going to like trim some parts out, but the finished thing we're going to be having is 12 inches. So you guys should take note of that as we go forward. So I'm just going to slit this open. You can see right here. And so far, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you smash the like button. That is very important for the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're yet to do that. So make sure you mark the wrong and you understand the right side of your fabric. So the first thing you're going to do now, I'm going to fold this into two. You see that? Just fold this into two places, just right here. And I'm going to use my hand to align the edge because I'm working with a native print fabric. So my hand can easily shape on that side. You can see how straight that is. So I'm going to fold it together just like this. And I'm also going to do the same thing on this one also. But if you're using a normal fabric, just take it to the ironing table and give it a thorough ironing. That is very important. So you see here. So once I have this, you see what I have so far. What you're going to do now is I want that zigzag part, that line part, to actually be the one that's going to be that shaped part of the applicator, the flip part. The flip part. So the flip part is that zigzag part is where I want to use as the flip part of the cap itself. That's the one I want to open, right? So at that edge of those ones, I'm going to lock those edges, right? So from the down part, I'm going to run a stitch. You can see just half of an inch all the way down at this place, also half of an inch. I'm going to simply go ahead and stitch that place and iron it. So after stitching, this is what I'm going to be having. You can see here, I already stitched that edge. You can see what I have. I already stitched that edge. So after stitching, before I stitch the both side, don't forget, you're going to stitch the both side. So after stitching, I'm going to make a notch at the edge right here so that I can have it open very well. It can open very flat, and I'm going to make a notch at this edge also. Just open that edge up. You see that? So after that's open, all you have to do now is to simply turn it inside just like this, and make sure that stitch parts actually fall at the center part of the fold. You see that? So I'm going to open this up, and all you have to do is just to simply give it a good ironing. Make sure it's balanced very, very well. Take it to the ironing table, iron that part. And I'm going to do it for the boot cap. Take it to the ironing table, iron it, and make sure the two sides are flat. Then we can continue with the sewing. It's actually not that difficult. It's actually a very, very simple tutorial, but I want to take you guys through the whole process step by step. That's why I have to take my time to explain every bit of it. So after ironing, you see what we have here is exactly what we are going to be having. See that? See that? This is exactly what we're going to be having. And also the second side also. So now I'm going to face the two sides together. The two right side are going to be facing one another. You can see that. So once that is done, the next thing now is to determine our height, our total height, and the total wideness of the head itself. Don't forget the total wideness of the head is going to be 24.5 inches divided by 2, which will give us 12.25. That's 12 one quarter of an inch. That's 12.25. So that 12.25, I'm going to divide it into two places, just like that, which will give us 6.1. See that? Just like that. So I'm going to mark the stitches at that place. That's where I'm going to stitch. And also at this place, this is where my stitches is going to end. That's my total head circumference, right? So on that total head circumference, all I have to do now is just to make a simple curve all the way around. So let me just work on one. So I'm going to flip this backward like this. I'm going to fold it into double. Whatever I'm cutting on one side is going to reflect on the other side as well. So just pay attention. Make sure it is aligned very, very well. Make sure it is aligned. See that? See that? So now the total height of my cap, I told you is going to be 12 inches in total. 12 inches. So I'm going to add an extra half inch to that 12, which will give me 12.5 inches. From that 12.5 inches, I'm going to mark that place. So from my sewing allowance on the side, I'm going to simply connect it together. At this place, depending on how you want the cap to do, you can do any shape of how you want the head to look like, right? So here, I'm just going to make it look like a normal cap head. So I'm still going to like fold the inside of this one, but it's not an, you might leave it like that. You can fold the inside just like this. And I'm just going to trim it outside. I'm not going to trim the edge. Don't forget, we have our half of an inch at that place. Don't cut out that place. So once you have that, this is exactly what we're going to be having. Our 12.12 inches, or 12 inches for the head. You can see connected to our 6.1 on the side of the fabric. So this is what we're going to be having. This is what the head is going to look like. So I'm going to do the same thing on the second one as well. Just place it together and simply trim it out. So once we are done trimming it out, I'm going to take something that we'll be using to cover this side, right? This side, we have to use a fabric to cover that side. So I'm just going to cut exactly that size of fabric that we're going to be using to cover that side. So here, just fold this together and simply trim it out with the same size. Just trim it out to the same size, and we're going to cover the side also. So now I've gotten a piece of fabric that I'll be using to cover the each side. You can see that. So in order to cover that side, pay attention to this place. This is very, very important. You just need to cover. So the stitch is going to be outside as well. So when we like this, we're going to stitch it outside like this. So before we stitch it outside, I want you to look at this place. You can see our sewing allowance that we mark at that place with the chalk. You can see that place. I'm going to make a notch at this corner right here. You see that? So that I'm going to have something to open. And also at this side, just put your scissors inside and make a notch before our sewing allowance. You can see the sewing allowance chalk right there. And also on this one, I'm going to make a simple slit at that place. And here as well, make a simple opening at that place. You see that? So once you do that, the next thing is basically very simple. I'm going to open it. You can see our notch at that place. So we can simply place our fabric together we are going to run a straight stitch all the way to the hem of the other side, right? So let me take this to the sewing machine and do that stitch so you can see. We're going to iron it, we can do the finishing. It's actually not that difficult at all. I believe you guys are following me, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button. So as you can see right here, I already do the stitch, I already do the joining. This is what the inside will look like. Basically, very, very simple. See that? So here, just open this place up like this and just give it a good ironing. And also at the back, we're going to cut out the same shape for that side as well. Just cut out the same shape like this. So we're going to iron this inside, open the stitch, and at this back also, we're going to add an interfacing. I'll be using a soft interfacing at this place because I don't want it to be too thick. It has to be light. Shouldn't be too thick on the head. It has to be light and still move around very, very well. So just trim this out. So on the front part, which is going to be the plain part that does not have stitch, you can see this side have stitch and this side does not have stitch. That's where we're going to add our interfacing. So I'll be using the cloth gum. This is a cloth interfacing, just something light that is not too thick. So I'm going to add it to that place in order to give me a little bit of thick texture, right? I'm going to add it on both fabric, on both sides of the cap. Then after, we can simply turn it and do our locking. So let me take this to the ironing table and do that and show you guys the next step. You're going to do it on both cap. Don't forget, on both cap, you're going to do it. So after this is what we are going to be having. You see here, I already ironed this and open it up. And I already add an interfacing to this back side. You see what we have here. And also the second one, I had an interfacing to the second one as well. You see what we have so far. So after that is done, the next thing is to simply, you can see the texture that this side is thick, while this side is a little bit lighter. That's the most important part. That's to give us that thick shape a little bit. So now push this inside. Push this inside. You can see what that is looking like. Easy. And also this one, push it inside and do the turn up. See that? That stitch, that place that our stitch is going to be the one inside of the cap, while the flat side is going to be the one outside. So pinpoint these edges. Make sure you pinpoint those edges and they are very, very sharp. You see that? Also this one, pinpoint the edge, make sure it's sharp. I'm going to take it to the ironing table, iron it, then after we are going to do our lock stitch. However, there are several ways in which you can do this lock stitch actually. Even before we turn it here, you can actually turn it first before we do the lock stitch. But I just want to use the very, very simple one that I can simply after open it up and use stitch a different measurement and stuff. So I'm going to use an open stitch on this one, an open stitch. So now the right side and the right side are going to face one another just like this. The right side and the right side will face one another, and on the edge just have to take your measurement. Make sure it is aligned very, very well. That's important. Make sure it is aligned just like this. You see that? So the edges are aligned. And from the edges, I'm going to make my stitch. It's going to be based on my measurements, my head circumference. So I'm going to be stitching like quarter of an inch from both sides, half of an inch from both sides, right? Half of an inch all the way round from here. You can see that. So I'm just going to stitch that side around, then we can do the final finishing. Let me take this to the ironing table and do the stitching so you can see what I have here. You see how simple. However, if you're enjoying the tutorial so far, a like to the channel will be a huge thank you. And if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. So let me take this to the sewing machine and show you guys the final result. After stitching, this is what we are going to be having. You can see what I have here. So just trim out the edges and do the lock stitch at those edge. You can see here I do an open stitch because I might need to like restitch it or something. That's why I said to do an open stitch. There are other ways in which you can do the finishing actually. So I'm just going to do a turn up like this. Just turn it inside, just like this. You see what our cap is looking like, our abeti aja cap. See, I told you guys that I want that zigzag side to be the one that will come outside, right? So you see what I have here. See what I have here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cap. If you enjoyed the tutorial, you should smash the like button, of course. You should. So you can simply fold this side backward in order to give you that doggy feeling. I don't know, doggy design, kind of doggy style. Yeah, like doggy. No, not what you are thinking. Actually, this go abiti aja. Aja is dog in Yoruba language. So this is going to be the final result. Give it a good ironing. Overlock the inside, and this is what you are going to be having. If you enjoyed the tutorial, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. I single-handedly picked these two videos you are looking on the screen right here. So I will advise you to go ahead and watch that video next. This one on the screen right here, this one you're watching, this one you're looking at, go ahead, click that video, and I will see you there next. I picked that video for you because it is a very, very good video. See you in the next one. Peace.